Okay, let me look. What does it say here? Maryland State Constitution, text of Article 1. Constitutional provision? Let's look at this. That all government of right originates from the people, is founded in compact only, and instituted solely for the good of the whole, and they have at all times the inalienable right to alter, reform, or abolish their form of government in such manner as they may deem expedient. Do my eyes play games? That is what it says. I see it there. That's what I read. To alter, reform, or abolish their form of government in such manner as they may deem expedient. Well, that's what it says. My eyes don't deceive me. Good morning, people. Good morning, people. This is Celestial coming to you with more good news. Yes, when you turn on the news, you hear a lot of bad news. But oh, if they only knew that they can turn all that into good news. And that is what we're going to do here, because here you're going to hear the solution, the remedy. Why? Because David Jose, which we love to call Dave Jose, taught us our hidden powers, because yes, you, I, we the people have powers that were hidden. They were purposefully, deliberately, strategically hidden from you, hidden from me. Why? So we would know how to stop corruption in our government. So we would not know how to stop corrupt activities and harm to the people. Because we, the people, do not have to wait for elections. No, we do not. We do not need to wait to try to pick some nice guy to come have mercy and help us. We don't need that. We can correct all government wrongs right now, today. The reason you don't see that right now in full bloom is because you guys still don't know. There are so many Americans that still do not know, and all it takes for us to win like an avalanche is for all the people to know. But nevertheless, we are winning right now, and we have proof. We have proof to show you if you want to see the proof that we are winning right now. Our servants are beginning to see the light. They're beginning to see the error of their ways. They realize where the real power is, and it is in we the people, in each one of us. We are each one of us, the bosses, the masters, the owners of all governments in our United States of America. And the good, faithful servants that are finding out, they are responding beautifully to the truth. They are responding beautifully to the truth. We are letting them know in a way they cannot say they didn't get the information. They didn't know. They just had no clue that they were doing something against the law. But now, the way we're taught by Dave Jose is the correct way to let them know and give them an opportunity to be good, faithful servants. And yes, for all of those who wish to continue being unfaithful servants, doggone bad servants, they're going to get their comeuppance by law, by our full authority of law. Everything legally, everything lawfully, no violence, no need to break our nails, no siree. In the comfort of our own homes, we can correct them with peace and love of Jesus Christ. Yes, sir. We don't need to break a sweat. No, sir, we don't. And I will show you what our beautiful Dave Jose has shown me, has shown us, because we are all over this nation of ours, all of us waking up to the truth, all of us seeing the real evidence, and don't be fooled by people that they have suits on and ties on, and they speak really well, and they know how to express themselves really well, and they lead you to believe that there is a solution. Wait for someone else to do this. The cavalry is coming. Oh, if you just pick the right president, then you'll have help. Then you will be restored to a better life. No. That is just another way of making sure you stay still, making sure you stay immobile, inactive, and you do not use your full powers. Just think about it, even in the fantasy world of Superman, right? And all those superheroes, they had to learn how to use their powers. They discovered they had powers. Then they needed to know how to use those powers. It's the same with each one of the people. We need to discover we have those powers. We need to know exactly what they are. We need to know how to use them in such a way that puts those government servants, all of them, the faithful ones, the unfaithful ones, puts them on notice, letting them know that we know. And it is all written. It is not fantasy. Here we go. Are our government servants accountable and liable to you if they harm you by going against the terms in the contract, aka constitutions, aka trust indenture, aka compact, because that is what we have. You know them as constitutions, but did you know that that is the contract they swore to? And it is a trust indenture because they are trustees and servants. And it is a compact. Yes, it's a compact. And in another video, we've talked about it, and we're going to talk about it in other videos as well, defining all of these terms so that you know. And believe me, I'm not the only one spreading the word. No, I'm just one of many voices spreading the good news to all the rest of the people in our country, in our nation. So please do your part. If you believe this, if you research this, go ahead. You can look at the evidence I'm presenting. You can look at Ballotpedia. You can see this is Alaska Constitution. By the way, this term in the contract belongs to all the people of all states. So this term right here, see how this is just the title right here? Don't worry about that. This is just so you know what this is about. But right here in quotes, in those quotes, that is the term of the contract. One of many, many, many terms. And every single constitution has Bill of Rights and Declaration of Rights. And there are two other names. We'll go on because oh my goodness. So there's about 4. But you know them more, you're more familiar with Bill of Rights. Don't get it confused with the Bill of Rights of the United States Constitution. That's just one constitution. Pay attention and know your powers by looking at the state constitutions, because they haven't worked on creating pitfalls, hurdles, and obstacles for you using the state constitutions. And there are many hurdles, many pitfalls, many traps, many goalposts, ways of keeping you from really using the state constitution to assert your rights. Do not waste your time. Go to the state constitution. So here we go. This is the Alaska State Constitution, and it's titled Text of Section 2, Source of Government. And I quote, "All power is inherent in the people. All government originates with the people, is founded upon their will only." Their will only. Whose will? The people's will. Is it the will of the people and the will of the servants? No. Is it the will of the people and the will of lawyers, attorneys, bar association members that are in a private group privately have private goals, private agendas, private wishes and desires and benefits for their own people? Is it? No, it's the people's will only. Does it say, oh, but only if the bar association members approve of this? Only if they give it the green light go? Only if they say it's okay? No, no, they're nothing. They're below the people. They are below the people. They're just private bar association members exercising, pushing forward to reach their goals, to benefit themselves. So it is the people's will only. This is important that you understand. This is really powerful that you understand. It's your will only, our will only. And we wrote exactly what all government servants are to do and avoid doing. They must do certain things and avoid doing other things. And we wrote that down. And they agreed to those terms already. And they are working for us already, getting paid to do exactly that. So they're under contract to comply. And you know what happens when there's a contract and there are those terms in those contracts? People have to abide by the contract or they get in trouble. You know they get in trouble. I made this so your kids can enjoy it too. You can show this part to your kids and explain it to them so they grow up knowing about their full powers. Do not forget to teach your kids. That is the reason why we are living with all of these terrible things taking place in our nation, which should not be. It should not be like this. We should each one of us, down to the smallest one of us, every single one of us, we need to be really happy and really fine, and there should be no one living in the streets. And the fact that people are living in the streets that are the people, that's unacceptable. And it doesn't take a president to do it. It takes the people. And when we elect presidents, no matter who they are, it doesn't matter if they're on the right, on the left, or in the middle, or wherever they are. It doesn't matter. They have to obey the contract. They have to do our will only. So this is for your kids. Alaska State Constitution, Article 1, text of Section 2, source of government. And I quote, all political power is inherent in the people. All government originates with the people, is founded upon their will only, you guys, and is instituted solely for the good of the people as a whole. Yes, and don't worry about that because, yes, they are obligated and duty bound to protect all the rights of the people as a whole, and yes, oh, very much yes, of the rights of each and every one of the people, individual rights. And not only that, further good news, the written rights of the people and the not written down rights of the people. They're also obligated and duty bound to protect those, you guys. Come on, is this not good news? You know it is. And this right here, this is for your lovely children to also get the picture and get the idea of who they are and how powerful of all the people in the whole world, of the entire planet. Why are the American people, we the people, why are we the most blessed and powerful? Why? Because, you guys, because we are a Christian nation. We love God. We worship God as our King, our Lord, our Savior. He's our boss. He is our captain. We obey His commands. And this is His nation. And so Our founding fathers, they read the Bible. They had those principles, those thoughts in their heads. They had fantastic memories. They actually memorized, if not all of the Bible, lots of parts of the Bible. Those thoughts were definitely in their minds. They were meditating on His Word. And when they wrote our constitutions, they already knew that this was His nation. And they already knew that God loves the people. He is the one that created us. So because we belong to Him, He does not want any one of His people to harm any other one of His people that He created. And He created every single human on the face of the earth. No one was created by something else. No one. And He doesn't want anyone hurting anyone else. So the reason we know it is because we're paying attention. We are blessed by God to pay attention, and we observe nature because He declares Himself in nature. So no one is running around without an excuse they didn't know. Then He further discloses Himself and shows us Himself in the Bible, in His Word. And so we really, the more we pay attention, the more we read His Word, the more we know Him and understand His beautiful self and what He likes and what He does not like. We get it the more we read and meditate. And you're not in trouble if you didn't read enough or anything. You can start doing that now. It's okay. Get in there and start doing that now, because you're the one that's losing out on those benefits. Because the more you read His Word, it's benefit to you. Now, it doesn't benefit God, and it doesn't benefit, like, if you don't read His Word, He's losing out. He's just so wonderful. He doesn't need us. He doesn't need us. He just loves us. And that's why He made us. He made us not because He needed company. He made us because of pure, fathomless love that is so deep and so wide and so powerful, we don't even begin to understand how big it is. We are understanding a sample of it, a huge sample of it. So I made this so that you guys, you families, moms, dads, please teach your children, grandpa, grandma, sit down, teach your children their full powers and authority over our government. Because when we know this and we all walk steadily in the Word, knowing exactly what they're bound to comply with, then we can see any little slight movement outside of the law, the written law, they're in trouble. If they even keep getting close to going outside, and they keep making us pay so much attention to them because they're not really behaving themselves the way we need them to behave themselves, and they keep wanting to go near the border of going outside the law, we can remove them even for that, for being inadequate, for being in maladministration. Okay, so let's read this. These are government servants in breach of trust. See these little robots? Okay, this first one failed to protect the people's rights by allowing CPS to take kids without warrants, right? And without authority of the highest law, our constitutions. This government servant is guilty. This one here participated in taking the people's property in an administrative court instead of a true court of record with jury of their peers, free to the people. Guilty. This one right here did the will of lawyers rather than the will of the people per the contract, aka constitutions. Guilty. This one right here trespassed, infringed, encroached, interfered in the people's private affairs and private realm. Guilty. Let's look at another term that is good news for the people. Good news, everyone. You've been bombarded with bad news. Now come and look at the solution, the remedy. Maryland Constitution Declaration of Rights. You will find it at Ballotpedia. Go ballotpedia.org, look for Maryland Constitution, and then click on Declaration of Rights. Text of Article 6, and I quote, that all persons invested with the legislative or executive powers of government are the trustees of the public, and as such, accountable for their conduct. Wherefore, whenever, I love this word, whenever the ends of government are perverted and public liberty manifestly endangered, and all other means of redress are ineffectual, the people may, and of right, ought to reform the old or establish a new government. The doctrine of non-resistance against arbitrary power and oppression is absurd, slavish, and destructive of the good and happiness of mankind. All the Bill of Rights and Declaration of Rights belong to all the people of the 50 American states. And what I want to highlight, and I did highlight, I love highlighting, because hey, this is called annotation. You know, they teach you this in school when you highlight certain words. It makes you really think about them. Here it is. We're going to look at accountable, what that means, and conduct. Well, what are they talking about? And we're going to talk about reform, right? These words are pretty important in this term. So I'm sure that most of us already know these words, but it's worth taking the time to look at what bar members study in their books, because when they go to school to learn the law, right? The law, as they say, and do they really study the law? Because as far as I know, they study government, corporate bylaws, statutes, ordinances, policies, and that is not the real law. Those are just below. That is what they are trying to help each other understand what to do to get the jobs done that we did hire them to do. The ones we did hire them to do. To get those done, they need to do these little statutes, enact things and make little policies to accomplish those goals carefully, like plastic surgeons, heart surgeons, brain surgeons, scientists, rocket scientists creating rocket fuel. Carefully, do not let it blow up on your face. Carefully avoiding harming any of the people's constitutionally guaranteed rights, their inherent natural rights that God embedded the people with, that God gave the people and is so attached to the people that it's like part of their chromosomes. Yes, sir. Let's go. Let's see this. Now remember, the doctrine of non-resistance against arbitrary power, which is another word right here that I'm going to explain to you, which I didn't highlight. Okay, arbitrary power and oppression is absurd. It's slavish and destructive of the good and happiness of mankind. It is not only so bad for the people, but it is bad when they do things that are oppressive, destructive to us. It is terrible for mankind, because all mankind, that everywhere, wherever you are, in whatever country, whatever nation you are, you all were created by God, and you all have these inherent rights. And remember, they're yours, and they do not need to be written down. It helps if they're written down, but they're not gone if they're not written down, because God gave them to you as part of you. So, all of you, If you all don't want to have oppressive people that decided they wanted to be rich and powerful over you, you don't have to put up with that. You don't have to put up with that. Just start writing, get together and start writing a constitution and unfold it and unleash it and say enough is enough. You tyrants, you oppressors, you don't have power, because the only reason any king, any monarch, any tyrant, any ruler, the reason they have any authority over you is because you let them have it. You're letting them have it. Now, I understand a lot of you are, you're being mistreated and you're being murdered and frightened to death. And of course, they scare you to death. And of course, then you have to agree with it. That's coerced. That authority, they don't have it. It appears that they have authority, but they don't have it because you never really gave it to them, because they're forcing you to stand still and let them get away with it. That's not real handing it over. Now, those that have kings, where the people say, I want to have king or queen over me, so they can tell me what to do, because I can't think of what I should do for myself. I want them to tell me what to do because I can't think of it. So please, let's all get together and agree to have a king or queen over us and boss us around. We love getting bossed around. Please, can I get up now and have breakfast? Oh, I can't. Oh, not yet. Oh, can I go outside to the park with my kid? Oh, no, I can't. Oh, no. Oh, okay. You like that? That's your business. That's your nation. That's your country. You go ahead and you deal with it and take care of it. You want to have a king? Have a king. If you don't want to have a king, you don't have to. You can say, you know what? We change our mind. We don't give you any of our authority. We're taking it all back. We want to be bosses of ourselves, and we're going to make something new now. And we're going to make sure that everybody that does things for the group of us, make sure that they're doing it good and for our benefit. Well, that's what we did. We wrote down, we created a government. And we said, we don't want to have a king. We don't want to have a queen. We especially don't want to have a tyrant. Those are worse than kings and queens, right? Tyrants. Even the name, is spooky. Tyrant. Tyrannosaurus Rex tyrant. They chomp on you. You don't want that. Okay? So we created, the people got together and assembled and said, you know what? We each are defending our own rights and taking care of our own affairs, but how about if we create a group of people that we hire and make sure that they help us? And while we're in bed asleep, taking care of ourselves, our sleep, they're busy watching out for us, making sure that nobody comes across the sea or across the borders to harm us, making sure they keep the borders, secure, make sure that nobody comes shoots us in the night, or takes our children, or takes any of our rights, right? That's our property. All rights are your property. And so the people consulted together, and agreed and said, let's do this. Let's make this a government. And let's write a constitution that makes sure that tells them, the people we're going to hire, it tells them what they're going to be allowed to do and what they're not going to be allowed to do. And we'll say that what they're not allowed to do, especially what they're not allowed to do, is harm our rights, because then they'll be acting like a king again or a queen again, or even a tyrant, an oppressor. So we're going to say, see these Bill of Rights, Declaration of Rights, you can't touch those. So we're going to say they are accepted out. Like, you could do this, accept that. They're accepted out. Okay? So this right here, this is one of the things they're supposed to obey. All right, let's see what it is, and let's define it. Let's go. Okay, so when it says that we can reform, in Black's Law 5th edition dictionary that's being taught to lawyers and that judges use, and professors that profess that they're teaching the law, they profess they're teaching the law, so this is what they use to teach their students, right? So let's see. It says reform, to correct, to rectify, amend, remodel, Oh, okay. So if the people have the all the political power and we have all the rights and we have it, all the power comes from us, and since we have a right to alter, reform, modify, abolish, right? Well, right here, this reform is to correct our government, to rectify our government, to amend it, to remodel it. And you guys, we the people can do it. We don't need to wait for election time to do it. There's just that we need more of you guys to come and see the truth and learn the truth. You know how it is. Okay, if only one man or woman knows the truth, that's great. Okay, one man, one woman knows the truth. Now what? Okay, 5 more. All right, that's getting better. 10 more. All right, now we're talking. 100 more. There you go. Keep it going, folks. Keep it growing. Pass this good news. We're going to work together so that y'all know what we need to do, how we need to do it to correct, rectify, amend, remodel our government to make sure it benefits us, because that's the whole goal. That's the whole reason why we created it, so it could benefit us. We're the beneficiaries in this government. So the only way we're going to do this, if y'all know, now there's a bunch of us already all over it and in all across our nations. We're all passing this on to as many as possible. Help us do it. We need you. Uncle Sam, that's some other guy, right? We're talking, you and I, we the people, we need each other. Pass this along. Talk about it. I know you're busy. I know you are. But do you really want to wait until the harm is at your very door, until it affects your very lives, impacting your children, your grandchildren, your beloveds? Do you really want to wait till it's too late? Till the boot of tyranny is squishing your trachea, your neck, breaking it to pieces? You really want to wait till then to start squeaking? Oh, hold on a second. Let me see what I can do about this. What can I do? Oh no, they're crushing my neck. Oh, 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 stop it. That boot, it's too pointy. Too late. The way you have to do it before that happens, before you need to do it. And honestly, we're already in the midst of it, because even if the trouble hasn't impacted your life, it has impacted other people's lives so negatively. Do you not care about them? Please do care about them, and let's do this. At least, if nothing else, can you look into it to see if what I'm saying is true? Come and look and see if what I am saying is true. Is it written down? Is it in real sources? Original sources, primary sources? Is it? Check it out and tell me. Oh, subscribe and do that thing, they say subscribe button, like button, comment. All right, here we go. So this other part of the definition is the Black's Law Dictionary, explaining what it means when it's regarding instruments, inter partes may be reformed. Okay, so I'll read really fast so you can know that what we need is up here. Instruments inter partes may be reformed when defective by a court. By this is meant that the court, after ascertaining the real and original intention of the parties to a deed or other instrument, which intention they fail to sufficiently express through some error, mistake, or fact, or inadvertence, will decree that the instrument be held and construed as if it fully and technically expressed that intention. See, that's for that. But for us, what we need to know is reform means to correct our government, rectify our government, amend our government, remodel our government. Thank you. Let's check this one out. Let's look at the word conduct, because we know in that term up there that we said that, hey, they are liable, they're for their conduct, that you mean they're, and it said accountable. They're accountable for their conduct. All right, well, what is their conduct? It is personal behavior. Notice I circled personal, because when they're outside of the authority of law, they're doing it personally. They're doing it themselves with no authority. Therefore, they're going to be in trouble themselves personally. Look what it says. personal behavior, deportment, mode of action, any positive or negative act. So a positive act is when they do something, right? Like for our government servants, when they do something that is directly prohibited by the contract, right? That's a positive thing. They went and did something. Or when it's a negative act, when they were supposed to do something and they didn't do it. Hey, it reminds me about judges. Doesn't it remind you about judges? When the judge sees that your constitutionally guaranteed rights are being interfered with, trespassed, encroached. Remember all these words: infringed, hidden, all that. Hey, they messed with your constitutionally guaranteed rights, and the judge did nothing, said nothing, stood still, and even continued to take part in interfering, encroaching, trespassing, all that, going against your constitutionally guaranteed rights. That's a negative act when they sit still, when they do nothing. They know you're one of the people. They should at least ask, hey, by the way, I don't want to get in trouble. Are you one of the people? I need to know if you're one of the people, because if you're one of the people, you shouldn't be in this administrative court that is not meant for you. If you're one of the people, you need to go over there where that's a true court of record with a jury of your peers, and you're not even supposed to pay for anything. Not anything, not zero, nada. So if you're one of the people, you need to go over there because you're a VIP. You're a very important people. And I am hired. I'm the judge, and I'm hired to protect and defend your rights. And since I have become aware that right now you're standing in this room decorated to look like a court, decorated, and we're all dressed. I'm dressed in a black long dress with, fringes at the top. I'm this big old bubbly black dress. And there's this guy over there with a gun, and there's this one over here typing something, and it looks really official with all the wood in the room and all this stuff, and the seats where you to sit all uncomfortable. It looks like a court, doesn't it? But oh no, it's not. It is just an administrative court-like place with a court-like procedure. And if you're one of the people, you're not supposed to be here. And I don't want to get in trouble because, see, my grass is grass. My grass is grass if I go against your constitutionally guaranteed rights. Okay? I can get in deep trouble because there's a thing, called maladministration in the contract. And there's another thing. I'm really spooked about the second thing. It's called treason. I'm really scared about that, and I don't want to be found committing treason. So please tell me if you're one of the people, and please, I'll walk you out. I'll escort you. I'll roll out the red carpet and walk you to where you're supposed to be, in a constitutional due process, in a true court of record, a true one, court of record, and with jury of your peers. That means there's people sitting there listening to your words, listening to your evidence, looking at it, paying attention. And it didn't cost you a dime, a nickel or a penny or thousands of dollars in retainer fees. It was free to you because it's already embedded in the contract. It's in the terms of the contract. It needs to be free for you. So please, beautiful one of the people, are you one of the people? Oh, you're a personnel? We can mess you up day and night. Well, I can. I'm sorry. I made a mistake. I can't mess you up day and night either. Because even though you're just a personnel, we still must do things in pursuance of our Constitution. So yes, even though you're one of the personnel, we can surely do a lot of stuff to you as much as we like, except go beyond the Constitutions. That we can't do. But we can get real close and really get as much of you and do to you as much as we can get away with, as long as it doesn't go over the line. Man, we're going to have fun with you, personnel. But but not with the people. We have to roll out the red carpet for the people. Oh, otherwise, we're responsible for our conduct. It's our personal behavior. And I'm supposed to be a judge, but I really shouldn't be doing this, okay? So I'm going to be like careful. I'm going to be careful. All right. So you see? Oh, looky here. Conduct also, it continues in the definition, an action or omission and its accompanying state of mind, or, where relevant, a series of acts and omissions. I underline state of mind because look, a great, possible defense they like to use, and I think they like to use it, is when they can say to you, I didn't know. No one told me. How was I supposed to know? It was the lawyer you assigned to me. It was the attorney that you assigned to me. Oh, Creator, what do I do? I didn't know. It's not my fault. I did it in good faith. I didn't know I was supposed to not do this. But, excuse me, did you read the what you were swearing to? You did swear to something. Took the oath of office, didn't you? And said you would support and defend and protect all whatever you were swearing to. Did you read it before you took the oath and signed on the line? Did you read it? Do you know what's in it? Or were you just talking like a little ceremony and like a little play? Let's see here. All right. Just to make sure, that you don't sneak away, we're going to send you notice. Yes, the way Dave Jose teaches us. We're going to send you notice, and you will not be able to say you didn't know. No. That's why you all have to know how to write notices. Meanwhile, while you learn, we already have notices that you can autograph. You can autograph them. I know, we get tired and we say sign, but it's for government servants sign and the people autograph. But you know what I mean, right? You autograph because you're one of the people. The people autograph. And we already have notices that you can autograph and send them so that you exercise your powers. You exercise your powers and let them know I also know my full powers now. See, I know that I am a boss, the master, and the owner of all governments. I am your master. I know this already. You are not my leader and you are not my ruler. I'm your leader. So you have to let them know. The simple act of letting them know even once puts you in such a place that better not mess with you, because you already told them you're one of the people of the 50 American states, Republican in form. And you are the master, the boss, the owner. And guess what? Don't get Republican in form confused with the Republican Party or any other party. It's a whole separate vocabulary word. It's a different word, altogether different. All right? Don't get hung up on that. Look it up and you'll see. I already talked about it in other videos. Now look. So it says here, this is Black's Law 5th Dictionary. This is why we educate them by notice, so they cannot say they did not know and their attorney did not tell them. The people are above attorneys in our nation. The people show them the highest law, the real law. That's right. That is right. Now, this is another term. Vocabulary word. This is the word arbitrary, okay? So here they have arbitrary and capricious. We'll go over that. It's characterization of a decision or action taken by an administrative agency or inferior court, meaning willful and unreasonable action without consideration or in disregard of facts or without determining principle. See how it is? Even, see what I was telling you. They have administrative agencies and they have inferior courts. We are supposed to go to a court of record. That's for the people. And when they do their own willful things, that's not allowed. When they're unreasonable, that's not allowed. And when they disregard the facts, that's not allowed. Because in administrative agencies, they do that all the time. If in a thing called court, like, the administrative court, they don't even have to listen to your evidence if they don't want to. They don't even let you speak. If you open your mouth, they scold you. Only the attorney gets to talk. Isn't he representing you? They mistreat you there, don't they? And then they go, I have seen where they go behind closed chamber doors. And do you remember another term? And you're going to learn this later. I'm going to do another video again about how courts cannot be secret. They cannot be secret. So that means no part of it can be secret. And it is secret when your attorney and the opposing attorney and the so-called judge, they go behind closed chamber doors. There is no transcription. There's nothing written down on what they discussed. There's no video of what they discussed. There's no way for you to know if your attorney that's representing you is really telling you the truth, is really representing you and looking out for you. How can you know? Just out of trust? You got to just trust the human? Well, we already know about humans. Humans can fail. Humans can go outside of the law. Humans can become corrupted. So, to make sure that doesn't happen, there can be no secret courts. That way they can't play the game in secret. They cannot go against your rights in secret. To make sure, right? This is why we have that other term, and I'm going to show it to you. There can be no secret courts. But in a little administrative court, they do a lot of secret stuff. That is why it's not meant for the people. So if you went to, like, say, a divorce court, it's if there were no jury of peers that you didn't have to pay for, and if you paid for anything to go to court, a dime, a nickel, a penny to go to court, that wasn't really a true court of record. That was not constitutional due process. Constitutional due process is for the people. Anytime they need it, they go there, walk in, get in there and set it up and go in there. It has to be soon. It can't be delayed. And you tell me, hey, I've got a controversy I need help with here because my rights are interfered with. And so you go there and they're supposed to take care of it gratis. Gratis means free, without sale, without being obliged to purchase it. You're not supposed to pay for it, ever. So if you paid for anything, you went to a divorce court or a paternity court or whatever name they want to give it, a custody court, whatever they want to call it, a parking ticket court, whatever they want to call it. There are so many names they give these courts. Whatever it is, if it's not constitutional due process in a true court of record, with a jury of your peers, free to you, public, not private, not secret, speedily, quickly, pronto, andale, with no delay, then you're being messed up. They're messing you up. And guess what, guys? Here, okay, I know you were sad when they messed you up. I know you were sad when they messed you up and took something from you. All your rights are your property. All your rights are your property, your time, your money. But not only that, your children, God is the one that said, you are the mama, you are the papa. The only time they can take them from you is if they swear under oath that you did something wrong. And it has to be something that God said is wrong, not something they say is wrong. You had too many Cheerios on the floor. You had dust in the fan, like my beautiful Dave Jose has mentioned before. Your kids aren't wearing the fashionable clothes. They're wearing clothes from the secondhand store. We don't like it, and we're going to take your kids away. Oh, you didn't give them this haircut instead of that haircut? Oh, you let them do this, and there there are so many reasons they may think that you don't deserve to have your kids, but they are nothing. It has to be something that you do that is against what God says. Because God says you may do this, and God says you may not do that. There are he has mandatory things and prohibitory things. Same. That's what we do too in the contract. That's the reason why we have mandatory things and prohibitory things, because we are in the image of God, and we copy what He does. We like trying being like Him, and we're going to be like Him. We're gonna be holy in heaven, but right now we're getting there. We're getting there. God already sees us as holy because He already sees the past, present, and future all at the same time. But what I'm trying to get to you to understand is that any court that you think is a court, if any of those things are missing, now you know, and here comes the good news. They owe you for that. They owe you for that. The government owes you for that. The government servants who allowed it to happen, they allowed it to happen, they didn't protect your rights, they owe you for that. They owe you for this. Because they're supposed to pay attention. They can't. Do you think for a second they don't know that these courts are not constitutional? They're not following the Constitution? And there's a difference between the people? Well, whatever. They can use whatever excuse they want. I'm telling you, if they took something from you, it doesn't matter how far in the past, if you have evidence to show they took something from you, like for example, and here's a big one. You know how they take farms because you can't afford the taxes when your mom or your dad die, and now you're stuck with paying for a bunch of taxes and this and that. See, now that's not allowed. They're not supposed to, on top of the fact that you're sad because your family member, your mom or your dad, they died, your uncle, whoever it was, and they gave this to you, this farm, and now you're going to lose it because of taxes? Question mark, exclamation point, danger, danger. What are they doing? Because they're supposed to protect your property. They're not supposed to tax you to death, tax you to lose. That does not benefit you. The government servants are not allowed to harm you in any manner whatsoever, and they're not allowed to charter agencies or license, businesses or administrative agencies, whatever they want to call all these things, corporations. They're not supposed to charter anything or license anything that is going to harm, that is allowed to harm you. They can't do it, and they cannot harm you through all these other things. Oh, and by the way, everything has to be, those agencies have to be chartered, so make sure that they are. And corporations have to be licensed, make sure that they are, and they're supposed to, it doesn't matter, all down to the smallest one. They cannot go against the limitations in the constitutions. They have to stay in pursuance of our constitutions. They cannot harm the people. Okay? So if they owe it back to you. Now, you have to know how to ask for it so you can get it back. If they took your farm, so you can get that farm back. If they cannot give you the farm back, they're going to have to give you something that puts you as though you didn't lose your farm. You're supposed to be as though you were not harmed. And if you've been years living in poverty because they took your stuff, they're going to have to restore you to a way that it makes your ouchies not hurt as much, right? Because they took years of your life, the memories you could have had, because they want to work in government and be our servants, and then they don't want to know what they're supposed to do, what their job is. You have to remind them what their job is. You have to do it in a way. You can't just call them on the phone. They could say they didn't get your call. You can't just send them a regular email. They'll say they didn't have time to read it, or they lost it, or it didn't come through, whatever the point is. They were too busy, didn't see it, whatever. You have to do it in a way that puts it on the record where they cannot escape it. They cannot run from it, hide from it. And if they happen to, they're 105 years old and government servant, then they die Why, they already hurt you? Guess what? Their kids owe it to you. Their kids owe that to you because that inheritance that those kids got, that really belonged to you because see, they harmed you and took something from you when they were supposed to protect your rights and protect all your property. And yet they partook in a system that took it from you. So now they owe it to you if they die because of an illness or a heart attack or old age or whatever in government, but they already hurt you and it was them, then their family, the inheritance they were going to give their family members, that really belongs to you. It's yours. But you have to know how to ask for it because you have to show, there are things you need to show in the notice. There's things you need to show in the affidavit. There are steps and procedures because we do everything lawfully. We don't go picking up, those, like you say, the pickaxe and hay forks, brooms and sticks or stones. We don't do that. We don't exert ourselves that way. We don't break a sweat that way. We do everything comfortably while sipping on our favorite tea. And we do it on paper with the right words in the right document and serve it to them, give it to them, present it to them in a way they cannot escape. In a way, there's no hiding from it. So come and get your stuff back. If you want to, you don't have to want to, but if you want to, you can get your stuff back. I'm just saying. In our nation, we have a contract they must agree with and sign. We only hire those that agree, take, and subscribe the oath of office, showing they will faithfully comply with all the terms in the contract, aka constitutions, aka trust indenture, aka compact. Put it in a song, compact. Compact. Arriba, arriba. Now let's see what this dictionary word is. This Black's Law Fifth dictionary word says. It says liable. What does it mean to be liable? It means bound or obliged in law or equity. Responsible, chargeable, answerable, compellable. To make satisfaction, compensation, or restitution. Okay? It also means obligated. It means accountable. Remember that word? Accountable for or chargeable with. Condition of being bound to respond because a wrong has occurred. Did they take your farm? Did they take your house through bankruptcy instead of a court of record? Did they take your home or your car for parking tickets and they didn't put you through a court of record? If they put you in jail because you didn't pay for parking tickets, did they do it through a court of record with jury of your peers? Before they put you in jail, before they put you in an uncomfortable place that was embarrassing and that ruined your good name, and you have a right to also be restored for your good name, because they can't even mess up and make you look bad by arresting you with no real evidence and the real authority of law. The real authority of law, not legislative, inactive things that are not for the people. They're not for the people. See? Continuing the definition, condition out of which a legal liability might arise. It says justly or legally responsible or answerable. Exposed or subject to a given contingency, risk, or casualty, which is more or less probable. I see now. Exposed as to damage, penalty, expense, burden, or anything unpleasant or dangerous. see, also liability. It says, oh, there's more. There's more. You can look at liability and then you'll see more. Okay, guys, look at liable. They're accountable. Accountable. Here it is. It's liable. So you know the term. Oh, yeah, am I gonna be going too far up? Let me see. Okay, it says right here. I should just post it over there. It says here that all persons invested in the legislative or executive powers of government are the trustees of the public, and as such accountable for their conduct. Ooh, liable for their conduct. Ooh, you mean they gotta give it back? Yep, that is exactly what I mean. They gotta give it back. That is exactly what I mean. Do you like it so far? All right. And right here, I don't know if I read this, but future possible or probable happening which may not actually occur and relates to an occurrence within the range of possibility. I think I did read it in all probability. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, you can read it too. You could pause this and read it. You know this. You could do that. Black's Law 5th edition, page 824. And now let's look at this for your kids to see. I did for your kiddies. I love children. I love children. I love my own children. I love my kids so much. Oh, they messed. Do you know that they messed with my life? They interfered with my rights. They hurt my family. And I'm older now. And I had all these wonderful plans for our children. I'm a mother of 8 children. I'm a Christian. And I'm a homeschooling mom, homeschooled my kids. And a few, of course, went to private Christian schools because we could afford it. But then when the government servants began to interfere with our rights, our constitutionally guaranteed rights, all of a sudden we couldn't afford putting our kids in a Christian, very fancy Christian school to get the best of education with a lot of friends all around and wholesome experiences. Oh, we couldn't afford it because they messed us up. They interfered with our happiness. They interfered with our property. They took our property without authority of law, and they harmed. The government servants, they didn't protect us from that. They didn't protect us from that. They allowed it to happen. And then they kept taking more and more and more because we had a lot of properties. We were very comfortable. And with our comforts, I was using it to bless my children. And also I was using it, and I have witnesses, I was using it to bless other children because I was involved in many homeschool groups. And every way I possibly could, I would bless the other children with whatever I had. And I did have, enough to bless quite a bit. And so I blessed the other children as much as I could. And it was taken away, and I was made less and less able to do it, interfering with my life and interfering with their lives, because they would have been blessed more also. The more, it was our stuff. It was our stuff. We worked for it. And then here comes all these methodologies. And guess what? Guess who was involved in every instance? Attorneys. And guess what? There were lies being said. Lies. And guess what? I didn't have a court of record so I could show the evidence to a jury of our peers so they can see for themselves and tell us who's lying, who's doing right and who's doing wrong. There was no jury, there was no court of record, there was no constitutional due process, and they took one after the other, 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 after the other property that we had. And money. So now, thanks to that, because of their naughtiness, I'm now dedicated. Thank God I prayed, and thank God I met Dave Jose, because I was praying. Dear God, you know this is wrong what they're doing. You know it's wrong what they're doing. Why are you letting them do it, Lord? Help us out. Have mercy here. Look at how much we're suffering. And it's like he has his reasons for letting things happen to us. So then I prayed, and I I was listening and I met David Jose through listening on YouTube. I heard him and I was just at least wanting to hear people say that it was wrong. These things are terrible. Aren't they wrong? Let's at least agree on that they're not the way that God wants it to be, that it's against God's love, and they're fighting with God because they're really harming us, but they're really fighting with God. They're showing they don't love God, and that's why they're doing it. They refuse God. When they refuse God, they hurt what belongs to God. That's us. They hurt us because they hate God. They're angry at God. They want to do their own thing, and if God prohibits something and they want to do it, now they hate God because he doesn't, he opposes it. If they want to be criminals and God opposes them, that it's not good to be a criminal, they want to be a criminal and steal stuff and hurt others, they hate God. They hate God. They want to do bad things, and God says, don't do bad things to others. And so they hate him for that because he doesn't want them to hurt others. He says, don't hurt love each other, right? Love your neighbor as yourself, which means if you really love your neighbor as yourself, you're not going to hurt him, because imagine this is you, and then all of a sudden there's your neighbor, and that's your clone of you. It's really you there, and then you really want to hurt you that's over there, that's your neighbor. I mean, love your neighbor as yourself. Don't steal from your neighbor. Don't curse your neighbor. Don't fight with your neighbor. Don't try to, insult your neighbor. Don't try to pickpocket your neighbor. Don't try to run your neighbor over. Love your neighbor. And they hate that because they want to do those things, and they don't want somebody to tell them no. So they hate God. So here I met Dave Jose on there, and then it says, at Real Dave Cares for You is where you're going to find him. And I better stop right here because I think they're starting to work at my house. My beautiful brother is here that I love so much, and comes and helps me whenever he can. And then I got to go help him now do construction. Yeah, construction is good for men and women. Here, who's ready to restore our republic? Let's get it. Freedom. This is Dave Jose. If he was a little cat, he'd be a big old cat. I'll do another cat and you'll see. He could be a big old beast of a cat. I have one already, a black cougar, ready to go with long nails, claws. He loves cars, though. He loves cars. All right, so God bless you. Remember, this is Chocolatey Goodness with Ashy Elbows. We the people know our full powers and authority over all government, and we will use the highest law and the contract they swore to and hold them accountable.
Maryland State Constitution, text of Article 6, that all persons invested with the legislative or executive powers of government are the trustees of the public, and as such accountable for their conduct. Wherefore, whenever the ends of government are perverted and public liberty manifestly endangered, and all other means of redress are ineffectual, the people may and of right ought to reform the old or establish a new government. The doctrine of non-resistance against arbitrary power and oppression is absurd, slavish, and destructive of the good and happiness of mankind.